Hello and thanks for joining the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. Let's remind you that it's 127 days to the conduct of the 2019 general election in Nigeria. As each passing day brings us closer to the all-important elections, we will always be here to give you in-depth analysis of events shaping the race to the polls. Today on the program, APC dares INEC over Zamfara, vows to present candidates for 2019 polls, as PDP, ADC, CD, SDP and others back commission. APC governors in crisis meeting with Buhari say party must not go to polls divided. And later on the show, Fayose dares EFCC, says he is not afraid of the anti-graft body. I will be hanging out with Asukwa James, Ayo Makinde and Tunde Abato. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Journalist Hangout starts now. Well, oftentimes in our political evolution as a country, the rule of might do clash with the rule of law, as politicians constantly engage in winner-takes-all battle for positions. The political situation in Zamfara State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has pitched power of might against rule of law. While the window allowed by law of conduct of party primaries lasted, APC in Zamfara was engrossed in power tussle over who should get what until the hammer fell. But the APC leadership is not taking it lying low. The decision of Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to bar the party from fielding candidates for the 2019 elections. In a letter to the electoral umpire on Wednesday, the APC said it will field candidates in all the elections in Zamfara State because the ground of law on which INEC based its conclusion was faulty. However, the opposition parties, that's the PDP, ADC and other civil rights groups like the Campaign for Democracy, CD, are backing the commission on its stand. I'll start with you, Tunde. Where do you stand on this matter, especially looking at the fact that the party is saying, as the APC, that INEC's disqualification lacks legal basis?
Well, basically, I think the problem we have in the country is that the convulsion in the political parties, because it's not only APC, even PDP, all the parties, is about the quest for power. And when you have a party in power, the amount of people, the number of interests will increase. The contest for power will increase because there are a lot of contending forces between the parties. Looking at the APC as a party, when you look at most states, even in Ogun State, in Lagos, in many other states, the contest for power is too much. So, unfortunately, it is not about the people. It is about those people who are interested in getting power. As for the APC, I think Adams Oshiomhole was just trying to just be the master of all. There's a way in which I see the INEC bending the rules, because last week they extended the deadline. And his own stand was that they have reached a consensus and that they have presented the candidate. Even though if that consensus was out of the framework within the, probably it was on August 8th, Sunday, before they came out with a list. From the look of things, it will be very hard. I don't see INEC being able to stand by its word and not allowing them, more so when it is a major party. If it is any of these political parties, you can explain it. But like I said, it is all about power and interest in the power. And I think that both the INEC and the political parties will have to iron the differences out. The goalposts may be shifted one way or the other, but we have to. Because if it didn't involve any major political party, you can understand. But all these parties that are involved are major political parties. So within the window given by the INEC and the party itself, there has to be a way in which the thing does not lead into another thing that is not palatable to Nigerians.
Like what?
Like if a major party in the state is not allowed to participate in that particular election, well, I don't know.
No, you know something, but you just don't want to voice it out.
I don't know.
But let's go to Asukwa now. Do you share the same view with him that that's the battle of might, that INEC might bend the rules for the APC?
No, it depends on what the Electoral Act and what the Constitution says, you know. My own is, I'm looking at it in two ways.
All right.
You know, why didn't the Zamfara or the APC conclude their primaries before then?
There was
Even
a
if it
crisis.
was okay, like now they are saying that they had a consensus
candidate. Yeah.
Okay, now when was that? And then based on what the constitution says, the INEC is supposed to conduct or to monitor those primaries.
And there was no voting, like the party rightly said.
No, definitely. It's part of their...
But they were not part of that process.
That is what they are saying. That's what INEC is saying.
So does that make it illegal?
That is where the legality comes in. But Adams Oshiomhole is saying that they actually conducted, they had their own based on affirmation, which is what their party approves. If it's not direct or indirect,
it should be a
can be a consensus, and they have it. Now,
and INEC is supposed to monitor that process, whatever the process is.
Of course, it's affirmation. It's just like what happened at the Migo Square.
Yes.
There was an affirmation. So that is where you are going to be looking at when did that affirmation actually take place. But if it is, because some people are saying that what was outside was that they missed the time. It's not that they missed the time. It has up till October the 18th to submit the nomination of all the candidates for president as well as the Senate.
So is that why the party is saying that the grounds for which INEC is making that statement is faulty, since there's still much time?
Yeah, the statement is very long, They're also saying that apart from that they still have that time for them to nominate. There's even a provision in the Constitution that in the INEC Electoral Act as well as in the Electoral Act that you can even remove and replace and all that. But that is another thing. They are saying that they still have up till October the 18th for them to, to send the names. So
it's INEC, stemming from what Asuko has said, is INEC moving ahead of itself?
I think INEC is just, as that campaign goes, staying on its own lane. But there was something they began, the other time that I think is being largely ignored by all interests, which is the people. Clearly, whenever there is a party in power, there is the natural tendency for all kinds of interests to jostle to remain in that position and all of that. And of course, we cannot take that away from even the PDP when they were also in power. Everybody wanted to be president, everybody wanted to be governor and things like that. But I thought, which is where a number of people would probably be disappointed in the ruling party, I'm just wondering where this is going to go, because primarily it has to be in the favor of the people. That's number one.
You see that happening?
It has to happen, because if it does not happen, then we are doomed. Yes, if
that's a strong word.
Yes, if it does not happen, we are pretty much back to the trenches. What I'm expecting is that a political party like the APC would show leadership. If you did not have party primaries in a way that is transparent, you are automatically showing the way to go in a particular thing. And I think this is even beyond the primaries. This, as far as I'm concerned, this is a jostle for retaining as many states in authority for the APC as possible.
Instead of dealing with the issues?
Instead of dealing with the issues. Because in the run-up to the primary, all of there are so many contending forces for this particular ticket that we're talking about, and the issues were not resolved before the date. Clearly, the INEC, it is clear to anyone who has followed the story that the INEC was not aware that there was a consensus candidate, so to speak, because if there was an awareness by INEC, and INEC was saying that there is no such thing, it means that INEC is also playing some kind of politics, which is not supposed to be involved in. So for INEC to have...
You need to clear that.
It's clear. It's just a simple thing. INEC says the APC didn't conduct primaries that would produce a governorship candidate as at the date, as at the deadline. So by October 8th, there was no name presented to INEC. So that in effect says INEC was not aware. So if INEC was not aware, and the political party is responding by saying, because of we had some internal problems, for me, that clearly says that we are not ready to govern. Because if the build-up to getting that particular candidate had such ruckus, what's the assurance I have that whoever is going to become governor is going to receive the support of its political party and the people? Because every political party is made up of people. So ultimately, for me, it's about the people. So if there is such ruckus now, how am I assured that the people are going to get good governance? That's usually my own personal interest.
Okay.
No, I think this whole issue is the fallout of the governors wanting to take over everything and becoming gods or lords for themselves. I think that is the fallout that you're seeing, because this is the governor who is battling to bring somebody, and there are so many other people who want to be governors. There are so many other people who also want to go to the Senate, to the National Assembly, but he doesn't want to. He wants to put his men there. And that is what has been going on across. If you notice, most states in the Federation, APC has been having one issue or the other. In Imo, the same problem. They are already having two factions in Imo. We have the governor's zone and we have another person, another side. In Rivers, it is the same thing until the courts decided.
We'll be talking about the crisis.
Yeah, so this is just the fallout. For this, INEC has written, they said that they even contacted their own office, the INEC office in Zamfara.
And they said they didn't monitor.
And then there was no, they didn't deploy, and then no official was deployed and mobilized to go to this primary. So it is left for Adams Oshomole, the national chairman of the APC, to now tell us, or INEC, where they actually did the affirmation, because INEC is more concerned about the affirmation and when it took place. Did it take place in one hotel, just like they are saying that there was
it took place.
And which day? Was it maybe 12 midnight or after 12 midnight?
Were there pictures? Was there a video?
You understand? Because those are some of the things INEC will want to, check to know that truly this happened. And just like we are saying, because it's a major political party, it won't speak well for a political party not to be involved. A ruling party not to be involved in an election.
If you ask me, I would say that is
so INEC is really.
It's not an issue.
I would say that's not an issue.
The thing is,
how is it not an issue? No, you have to explain yourself.
It's a matter of integrity. As far as I am concerned, I would not say the fact that you are not. There are weddings held in Lagos without the groom or the bride being there. So what's the issue?
They use pictures. So that signifies.
So as far as I am concerned.
But in this case, this person is not part of it at all.
As far as I am concerned, it is a matter of integrity. Come out to the people and say, people, we are sorry. We were not able to mend our houses in good enough time to have the primaries. That will show up integrity as far as I'm concerned, and APC boasts to be a political party of integrity. For me, whether it's a major political party or a minor political party, in essence, we are saying that there should be different rules for different kinds of political parties.
That is where INEC has to come out
and make things clear.
Yes, to make it clear, because if not, the 2019 election, people will not have confidence in INEC.
Exactly.
So that is where they will have to, put their foot down and say, we have said it. There's no APC does not have a candidate, and they don't have a candidate, or they can even go to court. It's either APC takes INEC to court, and then they will go and trash it out in court. That's where the whole thing. I'm very sure that is where the whole thing.
But how did we get here in the first place? Because the governor, like Asuko rightly said, trying to impose himself, and then the people were not giving room to say this is what we really want. But is it possible, you talked earlier about looking at the interest of the people, but is it possible that in all of these elections that we are having, the people can really say, this is who we want?
Well, let me start from this particular premise. I have always believed that where we have a problem in Nigeria is the processes by which we throw up candidates or leaders in Nigeria. I'd like to revert to the Second Republic and First Republic. I was telling somebody on Facebook yesterday that, look, during the Second Republic, for instance, the UPN states that I know very well, all those 5 governors, after every 3 months or 6 months, they will go to the party leadership to explain to the party what steps have they taken towards executing their program. But in a situation whereby since 1987, when we had a gradual return to civilian rule that we had, when somebody would just come from Lagos, he would go to Ogun State with bags of money and he will hijack the structure of the party. Then when you have that particular process, then you have governors who have become emperors. Because all these governors, that is what is happening. The thing is happening in most of the states in which governors are going out. They are about to be succeeded by candidates of their own. So when you have a governor hijacking the structures of the party and the governor is seen to be the alpha or omega of the party, he is inclined, based on whether it's popular, he has led the popular government or not, to want to hand over to a favorite. And the new rule by the APC trying to say that let us give power back to the people. Personally, I wanted a situation whereby power will go back to the people. Absolutely. Anybody who want to be a councillor from your area, the people, members of your political party, have to endorse you before you are elected as a candidate. And that is when the party will take over the campaign. In the second, but that was what happened. You can't even print a poster when you're still an aspirant. You can only print a poster when you have won the primary of your party. And anybody that is donating money to that particular cause must donate the money to the party. In that wise, the party will be supreme and be able to control. But now we have all the governors we have in Nigeria. There's none of them that is not interested in picking somebody that will succeed them. That is the genesis of the problem we have with APC.
But that started in this 1999. In this Fourth Republic.
What we are saying is
we are the president at the time.
That's what we are saying.
That's what he's trying to explain.
Tendency trying to impose somebody, making governors emperors all over the place, behaving the way they like. Because in that wise, let's say now you want a consensus candidate, you have to involve all the major stakeholders in that particular place. You will sit down in your office and draw out a list and throw it to them. So what is happening now is that was why I said initially, the problem is that our leaders have no patience for observing democratic norms. When you have a patience, you will know that after spending 8 years in office, naturally you will have thrown up a lot of leaders. So it shouldn't be headache that only 2 months to the election, you now say this is my anointed candidate. Absolutely, it is impossible. But it happened because the party, the people are not the centerpiece of any government. If about the service to the people, the party should be supreme. You must respect the political party. But today, I doubt if any of the governors respect their parties because they are the alpha and omega. If you give power back to the party by saying direct election, if you want to be a councillor, let everybody nominate it, you will know that the people will have better say in governance rather than governors that will just go to a state. Probably I'm from Benue State now. I just take money from Abuja. I land in Benue State today. I will buy the structures and I become the alpha and omega. Both the chairman of the party will be waiting to see me. So that is what we are happening today. And it will continue to happen in as much as all the parties don't make the people the centerpiece of their power.
Where does that leave our democracy?
It's in danger. Our democracy is in danger.
Seriously, our democracy is in danger because we have finally turned the governors into, teen gods. Power has to return to the people. It has to. I don't know how, but I know it has to, because that is where democracy lies. If, for instance, I am always an advocate of, option A4.
That is the best.
Let me see the person that I want to. So if my brother is not voting for Mr. A or Mr. that is his own choice. But my own, this is the person I want to. But all this IDing and all that, that is where the vote buying thing and all that. You can buy your vote outside, but the thing is, nobody will change my conscience if this is the person I want to. We heard of so many people when they are doing the direct primaries that they were threatening them and all that. That is their own choice.
To the party. They were not, the governments were not expecting.
They were not expecting. Yeah,
they were not expecting it. That's why they are resisting.
But to me, I still believe that is the best way to return power to the people.
Well, naturally, change is resisted.
Anywhere.
That's to be expected.
Of course, but then whichever way this goes, will it affect the fortunes of the party in the state and ahead of the general election?
There's only one fortune that I want to be secure, and that's the fortunes of the people. The more I was talking on radio recently, and the professor was saying, look, while any raucous between or among politicians is good news for the people. So if they do not agree on a particular thing, it means that the people are likely to get the better of the best. Let me not just, because the two evils that came to my mind is not just it at all, you know, but that's just what I'm hoping. Ultimately, and then let me also add this. Many people say politics is dirty. There's only one reason for that. Politics is dirty because only dirty people play it. If you want Nigeria's politics to be clean, you, the clean person, get into the kitchen.
But have we allowed clean persons get involved with it?
No one, if you are a man who knows that his wife is not available to wash the plates in the kitchen, and he is hungry, he will get into the kitchen and wash. Get his hands dirty. Use detergent, because you cannot clean the plates without your hands getting dirty. So get into the pot and into the kitchen, get your hands dirty, clean the system, refuse to join them. There is that popular saying that if you can't beat them, join them.
We have Colin on the line from Kwara State. Go ahead with your contribution. Colin, are you there? Colin, well, the lines are not clear, but if you can, do call us again. Are you done with your contribution?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what the whole thing is about. If we want to get our politics right, let people with a different orientation get into the system.
All right.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of frustration. Yes, there's going to be a lot of backlash. Yes, but expect it, because naturally people resist change. And if you are serious and you are dogged, you will make the right kind of impact.
All right, quickly, Tunde, some persons have said that this is an indictment on the party, that's the APC. And so I'll ask this question again. Would it affect the fortunes, all of this happening, would it affect the fortunes of the party in the general elections next year?
Well, I think challenges are meant to be confronted. And the way a leader confronts the challenge determines the fortune of the particular political party. How the APC is able to manage this challenge. Because this crisis is even happening in APC because of the process of formation of APC as a party. A lot of divergent interests came together. Yeah. So when somebody now wants to come around and say, this is where we should go. Because you know what I have noted? Most of those people even left from the National Assembly to join another party in their states. They lost their primary relation. They lost their ticket. It means they have disconnected from the people. So let us begin to look at it that, yes, if this is only 7 states that we have, or 10 states, let us be known for something. Parties have to strive to be known for something. In the face of all what is happening, it will affect the fortune of the party. There's no way it will not affect the fortune of APC. But if it is the decision of the APC to remain ideological about what they believe in, I think it should not be strange to anybody. Right. They should stay with their decision and make sure that next time anybody who is a councillor or member of the National Assembly, you will know that the people, you have to service the people. You have to face a direct election.
We have Emeka on the line, calling from Abia State. Go ahead with your contribution, Emeka.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I like your discussion, but what I want to contribute is this. Why are we really bothered about what INEC should do? INEC should go ahead and uphold the electoral law. It's a very simple thing. As far as I'm concerned, if APC feels that there's something wrong, head on to court. Because what I believe is that this country should get to the point whereby the court will judge some of these little issues so that we can move ahead. I think that's my little contribution. Yeah. Have a wonderful...
All right, Emeka, thank you for your contribution. When we return, the APC governors in crisis meeting with Buhari say party must not go to polls divided. Stay with us. All right, you're still watching the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout, and let's quickly wrap up the first topic. Asuku, I was going to ask you a question. He talks about the way the party deals with the crisis will determine its fortunes, and in dealing with the crisis, some have said that let those who started or caused the crisis in the state be dealt with accordingly.
Then that one is like you are trying to use a sledgehammer to kill an ant, you know. I think at this period, to me, I would still insist that INEC, because our democracy has to grow. So I'll still insist that INEC stamp their foot on the ground and ensure that they don't fail the candidate. So that it becomes a lesson in our democratic, process. As we are learning, all parties will know that even before the 7th or before the deadline, they're supposed to have finished their primaries. Because if they now allow this, in the next 4 years or a couple of years, it will happen, and then there will be somebody will cite the instance of this.
Yes.
So the best thing is INEC, if they want to go to court, let them go to court. But INEC has to put his foot down so that we can move.
And grow as a democracy.
For those who have caused this problem, the party has to find a way. They are going into a big battle. Maybe after the battle, they can now start dealing with the people. But right now, they can't deal with anybody. Let them fight their major battle, then later deal with them. In fact, they even suspended the ESCO before the so-called the deadline. So they don't even have an ESCO. Except they would just want to bring a makeshift ESCO for them to. So Adams Oshomole has a lot of work to do, particularly in Zamfara. So for those who have caused it, the party has to deal with them, but that will be after the 2019 election.
Really? Well, the great British statesman Winston Churchill once said, and I quote, "When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you," end quote. After its ascendancy to power in Nigeria in 2015, the major battles fought by the ruling All Progressives Congress APC have been within its ranks. Now the conduct of party primaries has given rise to more enemies than allies for the APC. In order to douse the tension and have a united house, the APC governors are holding crisis meeting with the President Muhammadu Buhari, chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, and Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha said the party leadership is striving to resolve all differences arising from the primaries as they cannot afford to go to the 2019 polls divided. Well, stemming from his statement, Ayo, a house divided against itself definitely we know cannot stand. Several crises, the party is sharply divided amongst itself. And now having a meeting with governors, how much impact is that going to make?
Well, I'll begin from...
This is not the first meeting, though.
I'll begin from that same quote. The Yorubas have their own version. If the world does not open, the lizard cannot creep in. Tunde began this particular conversation by saying that we eroded democratic hierarchy or structures when we made the head of government, whether at the federal level or state level, to be
the head of the party.
The head of the party. That is an aberration. I can remember clearly the Second Republic and the Third Republic. I mean, the almighty National Party of Nigeria had Chief Anthony Meredith Adisa Akinloye as the national chairman of the National Party of Nigeria. Whatever he said was law. Why? Because the president needed to focus on governance while he focused on politics. That is what the structure was supposed to be. Come to, of course, it was misused largely and all of that, but that's politics and that's people. Come to the Third Republic, which was botched in 1993. I do not remember who the chairman of the SDP was, but I remember Chief Tommy Kimi was the chairman of the National Republican Convention, NRC. One NRC. One
was Chief Aneni, Chief Anthony
Aneni. One Aneni, one SDP. One Ikimi, one NRC. That's the same thing that was brought, that was the same philosophy that was brought into the Fourth Republic with Chief Adwogwe being the national chairman of the PDP at the time. What happened? What is it that made whoever decide, no, this cannot continue? I cannot be talking and you also be talking. That is where, just as Tunde said earlier, that's where the problem began. And that's the problem that needs to be resolved. In these meetings, all these meetings that we're talking about, no one has talked about inviting the national, the chairman of the political parties at the state level. Not one. There is no reference to the importance of these guys. So please, please, why will we not have this crisis? Now, you're asking what...
I think that inviting them will solve the problem?
Let there be a dichotomy of functions. Okay, right now, what's the function of a party chairman at the federal level or even at the state level?
Respective governors.
What's the function? There is no function. There is no clear-cut function. Please tell me the JD of the chairman of the political party, at the federal level or at the state level, even at the world level. There is none. So that's where the problem began, and that's the only way the crisis should at least make an attempt to resolve from that angle, because the governor wants to perpetuate himself in a particular way. Now, many of them are probably looking at one example and wanting to remain relevant. Ultimately, what happens? You become irrelevant.
Yes.
You become irrelevant because once you have lost faith with your, it's all about the people ultimately. If you're not able to carry the people along in a way that they feel like they belong, in a way that they feel like they are part of the process, that is the number one problem. And without that problem resolved, meet with Donald Trump, meet with Angela Merkel, and bring all of them together to persuade Buhari. It still will not resolve the issue because you are mixing governance and politics at your level.
All right. Now, when Adams Oshomole was brought in, people had high hopes of he being able to bring every aggrieved member together and ensure that the party, moves with one focus and, is able to, rise above every challenge. But so far, what you can see is some persons blaming him even for the woes of the party.
Well, I think, like you said, I think we have different understanding and perceptions about the function of a political party. If we have a viral political party, it is out of the political party that you have public officials in government. And if you have a party that has focus, that has vision, definitely it must give back to people, either elected officials, appointed officials that are good. But when you have a party that is perverted, that is under the armpit of somebody, that person is not even the chairman of the party. You cannot have good product. Probably Oshomole had a vision of the kind of political party. And those who invited him, who sponsored him, they had a vision of the kind of party they wanted to make out of the APC.
If you could just hold the thought, we have Ibrahim on the line calling from Lagos. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Yeah, good evening. This is Divine, not Ibrahim.
Oh, Ifeanyi, sorry.
Divine,
sorry.
Please, Divine for us.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Yes, I want to recommend you for your program. It's very interesting and educative. And I want to say issue of Zamfara State about their primary election that they couldn't hold. I want to say that it is quite unfortunate that if INEC should go ahead and succumb to the ruling party by fielding a candidate, it is a big blow, and it will be a very setback for the INEC. People will lose interest in them, and for that, they will definitely see what other people will say. If they have made that law and they have stand on it, they should not go back because of my interest. This is interest. It's not about this person. This is something that can happen to the other party tomorrow. And decide. You cannot eat your cake and have it. Because the governors want to be God. They don't want to do the right thing. Or maybe they are afraid. Maybe when the next person will come, they will begin to probe them in one way or the other. They are afraid of doing the right thing. And if INEC you venture by any means, or what the chairman of the APC is saying, that they will field candidates, and we have known Adams Oshomole as somebody that speaks as if he's talking to children in the street. And for that, if they should go ahead and field candidates in Zamfara, it's a big blow, and it will be a shame upon the INEC because they show that they don't have integrity.
All right, Divine, I'll have to let you go. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah, like I was saying the other time, we needed strong parties, not strong men. When you have strong political parties, look at Britain, look at the US, even there's midterm election in the US, you can be recalled at any time. But the problem is that, like I said, most of our leaders, they are not used to allowing democratic principles to take. We are impatient with democratic principles. Every governor in Nigeria wants to impose somebody by the end of his tenure to be his successor. We even have a governor who was boasting that his in-law must succeed him. When you have that kind of a perverted system, you needed somebody that will come around. And I think the real problem with the APC is change. Do you know why? Because when Oshiomhole came, when the NEC agreed that it's only two kinds of election, either indirect or direct. Direct election for states where APC have governors in control. Indirect elections for states where they don't have any government in control. So when you have, in the previous system, you know it's about nomination, when a governor or a powerful candidate can just collect some people, put them in an hotel, and herd them into the stadium, and they thumbprint, and that will be all. That is not democracy. That is not, my own concern is that all the parties in Nigeria, including the PDP and any other party, they should adopt the direct system. That will make the people, elected officials, be responsible to the people and respect the party. But what we have today is that most of our elected officials, they don't respect their political party. And when you don't respect your party, democracy cannot grow. Democracy cannot develop. The only problem, the real problem with the APC is the adoption of the direct system, which I think any student
but these problems were on before he came in, before the adoption of those.
People wanted, you know, direct system, it is difficult to pervert that particular system.
How many people will you bribe?
In Osun State, about 500,000 people voted for them to have Oyetola as their candidate.
Yes.
Previously, it should not be more than 30 or 2,000 or 3,000 people. Those 3,000 people who are going delegates, they will be housed in a particular hotel and they can be bribed. But this one, it has really tested the patience, democratic patience of most of these governors, and that is why you have the problem. I am telling you, the problem is that the thing has erupted and it has changed the calculation. Oshiomhole wouldn't have had any problem, but like I'm saying, you know, change is a very, very big thing to do. And if you want to be remembered for something, you must be ready to stand by that particular decision. I think the APC is in a process of rediscovery. If they can survive this particular thing, they will have succeeded in doing one thing, making sure that the party has been returned to the people.
I'll come back to that process of rediscovery.
The party is not in the hands of the people, but in the hands of the governors, who are emperors.
Asuko, earlier you were trying to reel out the various states that had challenges in Zamfara, in Adamawa, in Ogun, and you know all of those states.
And Imo State, and I just heard that the High Court, Abuja High Court, have told INEC and even the APC to recognize Uzodinma as the official of the candidate, not the last election and primary that the governor, did that had Uche Nwosu.
So, and then in Rivers.
And in Rivers, the courts yesterday. So all these issues, I think if I were to be in Adams Oshiomhole's shoes now, what I would do is I would call for an emergency meeting of everybody in APC, everybody that is involved. All the parties have to come to the round table.
You are assuming that
because if you look at it,
has power.
No, it doesn't. No, the thing is, if they don't, if he is the chairman, he's the national chairman.
Just hold the thought. We have Jeremiah calling from Kogi. All right, he's off the line.
He's the national chairman. He should call for the emergency meeting where everybody will vent their anger, and then from there the party will tell them why they decided to go on candidate A and candidate B. Because everybody cannot be a governor.
Agreed.
You understand?
People want to shelve their personal interests aside.
That is where, now, see, listen, that is where the lobbying and consensus and, trying to shield the politics is all about you taking some and me taking mine.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't it have come before the primaries? We're having different two persons emerging from the primary.
The thing is, even if they wanted to have two people, I know a particular governor that reeled out names.
Yes. 14.
Yeah. And then from there, he said, okay, that is it. So these are your candidates, and he's going to Abuja.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So if you have somebody like that, what do you say?
Shouldn't that person have been called to order?
That is why there is the more reason they now
party.
told him go and do the direct primaries. If you know that you have, the thing is because they have made the governor so powerful. So Adams Oshomole is now saying, let that power go back to the people. We are not saying you don't have your candidates, but make sure that the people also recognize those your candidates. It's very simple. To get people to, toe your line is simple. All you need to do is to talk to people, appeal to people. Then if you know that this is your candidate, let people know that this is your candidate and why. But not that you want to lord yourself or lord your candidate on people. Otherwise, they're having these issues. When you now have your brother or your in-law and you want your in-law to become governor,
by all means possible.
By all means, and you too, you also want to go to Senate, your wife, your House of Reps, it's a problem. Because are you saying that other people don't have brains or they don't want to go to Senate or the House of Reps? You understand? And the party is not only for you, it's for several people. Because even if you bring all your entire family or your community, it can't win you votes. You need the vote of so many people for you to win election. That is what, sometimes I wonder whether these politicians sit down to, analyze all these things, whether they sit down to reason the way we are reasoning.
You have been used to impunity over a very long period of time.
You become...
There's a tendency in which you think that can change the status quo. That's why the governments are behaving like that.
I think there is a process that's built up to this over the years. We are having been under military rule and monarchical rule for many, many years. It's really difficult to see things differently. So I think that's where we are.
Yeah, that is it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's usually Baba Sokwe, the leader has said, or Oga has said. Over time, that's what has happened. So to decentralize that power is something that's not going to happen at one sitting. It's something that's going to happen over time. And I think this is the beginning of the process for such a name as the All Progressives Congress.
You could just hold the thought. We have Aloysius on the line from Edo State. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening, we can hear you. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this program. People are doing. You are really enlightening me. There's just a question I want to ask. Yesterday, hello?
Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. What I really want to understand about this Zamfara state is I understand what the journalists are saying, but they are missing one thing. The governor of Zamfara state said, they did direct primaries. The man they featured today at China said there was no primary. The national chairman is saying that they have a consensus candidate. Can we please trash that one out before we now face INEC? That is where my problem is.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have talked about that earlier.
Yes, because the thing is, if the Zamfara state governor says that they had direct primaries, I know that their direct primaries was very, very violent. To the extent that even the party itself suspended the ESCO.
And they wanted to do another
primaries.
But
because
the government was against that.
Yeah, that is why they said, okay, fine. If you need, because I know then the governor said the NWC members panel that they sent, that they don't want that particular panel was partisan. So that they want another set. And that was why they dissolved it. I think I still have that statement from the deputy national chairman of the APC. Is that they want another set of panel to come and supervise the primaries, which I don't know if in fact it didn't even hold. It didn't even hold.
All right. I quickly wrap up your points or your thoughts.
I think there is a need for the executives, especially the governors, to understand the change of times. Times have changed. From 1999 till today, it's like 19 years into this Fourth Republic, as long as we have ever had as a nation. Times have changed. And the earlier they recognize that, the better. Because if they do not recognize that, they will lose relevance within a very, very short time.
All right, quickly We need to move on to the next topic now. Nothing, they say, is sweeter and more addictive than power. Hence the scramble for political office in Nigeria and the unwillingness to let go of such. One of Nigeria's most enigmatic politicians is about to lose power and the immunity that comes with it. In about 5 days, the tenure of Ayodele Fayose as governor of Ekiti State in southwest Nigeria will come to an end, and a new helmsman will be ushered in precisely on Tuesday, October the 16th. Many political watchers are envisaging a rough time for the outgoing governor with the nation's anti-graft agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over sundry allegations. But speaking in his country home, Apayo Ekiti, on Wednesday, Fayose said he has a clear conscience and would not be scared of the EFCC. He promised to be in EFCC office a day after expiration of his tenure to answer questions. Well, Fayose, as we know him well, the commission had told him to come and not wait until, the expiration of his tenure. But if he says he is not afraid, why did he wait up till now?
Well, I think I will make an exception. I think this time around, I will advise the EFCC to do things differently. They are unnecessarily celebrating what they are not supposed to do. Inviting a public official or any known Nigerian to come and answer questions should not be a subject of debate in the media. More so, about 2 weeks ago, the man, I'm not holding forth for Fayose because it's not a type of leader, but the man wrote a letter about 2 weeks ago. He emphatically told the INEC that he will appear on the 16th of October to answer to charges. Yeah. So there's no reason for EFCC to be unnecessarily grandstanding, as if, in fact, the EFCC is putting itself in a very delicate position of saying that as if we know that the person we are about to go for is bigger than us, because there's no need for this noise. It is after October 16, the man failed to show up, then you can begin to make noise. But for now, EFCC is just making unnecessary celebration out of Governor Ayodele Fayose. Let 16 come. The war will not end before October 16. After he has handed over power, then you now begin to make noise. If there's any need for EFCC to begin to celebrate, because they are unnecessarily celebrating the man. That is just my own point. They are unnecessarily celebrating Governor Ayodele Fayose.
Well, he was placed under security watch because, according to them, there was a statement making the rounds that he was going to leave the country, and so that is why they are insistent.
There is, for students of publicity or public relations,
yes.
You will know. I mean, okay, let me give you an example that some may find very funny. When the National Assembly was allegedly what's that word again? Under siege recently. The first thing that came to my mind was, this is a political campaign. But I couldn't say it out because it doesn't make any sense. Next thing I knew, there was some drama in the National Assembly, House of Representatives, Senate President,
diplomats coming, everything. So arranged.
Next thing I heard, a world press conference. I said, over what? And then next thing, this man is, I said, this is a campaign. This man wants to be president. So all these, and I can almost say, I don't have proof. Maybe I should have studied intelligence. I can almost say that this is just another one. Some people are being engineered to make this noise in order to give this guy relevance. There are two ways to be popular, for the good things or for the bad things. And in public relations, all publicity is publicity, whether it's good or it's bad. This guy needs to remain relevant. How did Dino Melaye remain relevant?
By being the public.
So who is
by being a public nuisance?
You need to make that clear. The EFCC, you're talking about people being engineered. Who is engineering who?
I think I'm going to allow the record to play over time. But what we're going to find out is that whoever it is that is throwing these issues up about Fayose is probably just playing to the gallery. Because this man already made it clear. So making this noise is suggestive of something. This man, Fayose, hasn't spoken in a very, very long time. And all of a sudden, this crisis, this noise is coming up. Why? Students of PR will tell you that this is a gimmick. All right? But let's just wait. Let's let it play out.
How many
days is October 16th?
It's next week. a gimmick? Is that what you see it as well?
Well, I don't know why. To me, they would have just allowed Fayose to go arrest, because he has done his 8 years.
But there is a case against him.
Yes, there is a case, but all the case is about the...
He has not lost his immunity, mind you.
No, yes, for now, he has not.
Now,
yeah.
he has immunity.
By that period, he would have, so you just be an ordinary citizen like us. Because I'm not sure there's anywhere in the Constitution that says there is immunity for
post-governors. Post-governors should be
immunity. There's nothing like that. So it will be an ordinary citizen like you and I. So for me, I feel he should have his day in court. It shouldn't just be...
Let him begin with his day in EFCC.
No, the thing is... definitely, if EFCC, they are serious, they should invite him. They should not, rough handle him. They should invite him. Okay, they've even sent the letter, so he already has a letter.
He has an invite.
So he will go there because he has said he will go there.
He will go there by 1 p.m.
Because he's a gentleman, Forget about all the, shouting that we used to... I've spoken with him a few times, so many times, and it doesn't appeal to me as someone who doesn't respect the rule of law. So he will walk himself to EFCC, and if there are charges against him, I know that he's going to, face those charges. He has lawyers. He has won cases in court before.
Sure.
So this might not be the first, case he will win. He can even win this case. He might even want to take it up and ensure that his name is cleared of all the allegations, because they are talking about the arms deal, case. They are not talking about any other case but the arms deal, because nobody has even, all the people that they've accused about the arms deals, the case is still in court up till today. So it means the thing will just be going, and then from there, he will just find out that by the time he goes to court, he will be granted bail, and it will become like any other celebrated case.
You have already seen.
So the best thing is, let them just allow him to just go and rest. He has done his own for Ekiti people. So, and that is why I see it. He has done his own for his Ekiti people. So let him go.
He has said that they should collect their 4 months' salaries, outstanding 4 months' salaries from the incoming governor, because the government refused to give him part of his own Paris Club refund.
Well, if you ask me, it's part of the attitude of our public officer, a lack of respect for the people of Ekiti State. Because there's no reason why any reasonable governor should tie payment of salaries and allowances to a loan that is being expected somewhere else, that you did not save it, you did not work for it. It's now tying it to the Paris Club. Why can't he, as governor, pay that money? That is another reason why I'm saying that most of these governors, they have no respect for the people that voted them into power. If he has respect for the people of Ekiti and for civil servants, he wouldn't even utter that particular. He's supposed to be begging them for his inability or failure to pay. Because a government, it is normal that a worker deserves his wages. In fact, any employer of labor that fails to pay worker is committing sin against God. So, he should just keep quiet, and go and keep his date with EFCC on the 16th. And the EFCC on his own part, they should not celebrate him.
That is it.
Right. Obviously, Kayode Fayemi has his work cut out for him with all of this.
He's already working. The inauguration will be next week. So everybody's already thinking about a new Ekiti.
I'm only hoping for one thing, that the people, we the people will not just keep quiet. We should not be violent Facebook giants, and inside your room you are just keeping quiet.
People have no voters card.
And on the day of election, you are quiet, you are just watching. I know, that's why I didn't go out to vote. By making up your mind not to go out to vote, you have voted.
Because you have encouraged.
Let me quickly answer. There's someone that is asking about this Zamfara. The person is saying that the requirement that INEC monitor primary election is not mandatory under the Extant Electoral Act. All the Act requires is that political party notifies INEC of its intention to hold primaries. Now, but section from the ground norm, which is the 1999 Constitution, section 15, part 1 of the 3rd schedule, number 3, says INEC, that is the National Electoral, Independent National Electoral Commission, must monitor the organization, operation of the political parties, including their finances, convention, congress, and party primaries. Take that.
I agree with everything. That finances part, there's going to be a while.
All right, Cindy, your final word on all of this.
I think as we march towards the next election in the next 4 months, all stakeholders, political parties, the police, the security agencies, the National Assembly, thank God that the National Assembly has graciously accepted to pass the budget for the conduct of the election. I think we should, all hands should go there, and Nigerians should exercise their power. The only power Nigerians have is their voters' card. They should make up their mind from today that they will not just sit at home and be complaining. Let them go out and vote according to the conscience. And let us send a message to our leaders that they should not take us for granted. Especially our emperors all over the place.
I go back to the people. For me, it's always about the people. There are many civil society organizations out there. Join one. You can't sit on the fence or sit in your room and be saying it's them. No, it's you. Ultimately, it's about
in the end.
So let all of us get interested, and more than that, get involved.
As we work quickly. Very quickly.
Well, just like you are saying, the APC has to put his house in order, because the PDP, they are not sleeping anymore. They have a candidate, a formidable candidate now, So they have to put just like the governors we are saying, they can't go to the battle divided. That is why I'm saying Adams or Shomole has to call for an emergency meeting to address these issues.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your contribution so far to all of the topics. Well, that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Veronica Danik Boy. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.